Hello, everybody. I am Porter Poley on Sports Focus, and I'm here with Daniel Towery and William Gray.
Hello.
Hi. And action.
This is day one of Sports Focus. Today we are going to be focusing on sexism in football. The first thing we'd like to do is thank our class and the 8th grade team, including our teacher, Ms.Robinson, for supporting us and doing our surveys.
We'd also like to be clear about sexism. Although you probably know what it is, we'd like to explain it. It's when a certain sex is excluded just because of their gender.
Our podcast was strongly based on an article. Well, it wasn't really an article so much as a docs with lots of headings and tweets. But nevertheless, it was very inspiring in my opinion. Most of them were about Serena Williams and her tennis career. 1 out of every 8 men said that they think they could score against her, regardless of their tennis skills. I think that's crazy.
For recess, boys would start a game of football, and most of the time they would leave out girls and say that they cannot play because they think they're trash.
That's really messed up, don't you think?
Yeah. But recently, girls have been proving that girls can do anything that a boy can do.
Like women have started a women's football team in the UK. Hopefully the movement is going to go throughout the whole world next.
Now, we know that women have always had the same abilities as men, but recently their interests have been elsewhere. So we're not trying to be discriminatory towards women.
But now many girls have started to want to play sports like boys. They've been making a movement towards making women's leagues for many sports.
Yup, and hopefully this movement succeeds in making fairness in all types of genders.
All that's left in getting sports completely gender neutral is acceptance. People need to accept that this is going to happen no matter what they do.
I think if other girls start doing football, then they would start a movement to start encouraging girls to start playing lots of different sports like football.
I agree with Daniel.
Okay, circling around, I think we should really focus on the Women's Football League and really dig into its origin. What's your take on this?
I think it's really great that there are even women interested in playing as a career, but their outfits are a bit demeaning. I think we subject women to a stereotype by making them wear outfits like the ones they wear, and I think we need to get rid of stereotypes like this if we want to move forward.
Yeah, I agree. That definitely is the first step, but there will be many more sports to follow, and second, will be accepting the fact that women will play. As a matter of fact, and that's probably the first step.
In the future, I think that it's really great that every sport will have both genders playing. Maybe boys and girls will have co-ed sports, and there won't be different leagues. There'll be one league for all of them.
I agree, but it will take a lot of time and work to do. For all we know, it could be a matter of months or decades, even centuries.
William's right. For centuries, women were expected to stay home and do chores. But now women have the ability to do whatever they want, and with a new generation coming, it may be that we have to start over. But it also could mean that it hurries along the process by starting off with fresh minds.
I actually agree with Daniel. His idea that it could hurry along the process is a really good idea because as we're growing up, girls are playing lots of sports and a lot of things are becoming gender neutral. So, as we're growing up, we're setting a norm that women do the same things as men, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Like Porter said, this generation, a lot of things are becoming possible, and I think that girls are going to make every sport gender neutral.
Alright, moving on. So we did a Google Forms where we read some of the questions from there and people's responses. Just to let you know, 53% of the audience are females and 47% are males.
Okay, the first question is what sexism is. 33 people said that they know what it is, but 2 people said they didn't. Now, I'm assuming that those people were just joking because we asked them. But just for those people that are listening and maybe didn't fill out a survey and they don't know what it is the discrimination on a basis of sex that is mostly against towards women, according to Lexico.com.
Sexism is a problem, and if you think that it's okay, well, I don't, and it is a problem. So you should not represent sexism.
On to the next question. Have you ever experienced sexism at school or other? 10 people said no, 2 people said I don't know, and 23 people said yes, they have experienced sexism in their life, which is a real big problem in school or other. So that is not good. And if that happens, stand up for yourself before you sex.
I strongly agree with Daniel on that. I think his point that it shouldn't happen in school is a really good point.
The next question is, have you ever been sexist? The answer we got was all over the place and mixed up. 22 people have said no, which you should keep up with not being sexist. 7 people said I don't know, which is okay. And 6 people have said yes.
For the people who said they are sexist, it's not the right thing to do because it's just discrimination and that's not cool. Jeez.
The next question is, what are some things people have said about your gender? Here are some examples of sexism stereotypes that people have responded to this question.
People have said that males are dogs and girls can't play sports or aren't strong enough. One person even responded with, "Get back to the kitchen and make me a sandwich."
Something a female has shared, and I quote, "You run like a girl, talk like a girl, can't play a sport because you're a girl, can't do a task because you're a girl, can't be strong because you're a girl, can't like certain things because you're a girl, assume they like pink and rainbows because they're a girl." Some boys are messed up when they say those types of things, and because none of them are true.
More answers to that question is girls can't play sports, or that girls can play sports because they're stronger than girls, or that girls are not strong enough to play sports, and that girls can't do certain things as boys.
None of that is even true. Girls can do as much stuff as boys when they put their minds to it.
Agreed. All right, on to the next question. Have you ever been excluded from a sport because of your sex? 24 people said no to that question and 11 people said yes.
That is a major problem, that people have been excluded from a sport. Don't exclude people at all because it's not cool to do.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, moving on, we are going to be asking questions, and each one of us is going to answer that question individually. First question, shouldn't women decide what/who they want to be in sports?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Daniel, your take?
Why would they not have the right to do what they want to do or who they want to be in the sports? Each person has a right to do what they want as long as it's following the law.
Yeah, women have total right to decide their life choices and their reputations.
Another thing that I read in an article is the salary difference in women's sports versus men's sports.
We found that the median full-time annual income for the men is $67,652, and the median annual income for women's sports is $42,900. That's a difference of $24,752.
I think that's absurd. Women should have the same opportunity as men should, and definitely includes income.
All of these politicians talk a big game about, like women's equal rights, but then they do stuff like this. They don't give them equal pay.
Now for another question. Why do you think sexism is mainly directed towards women?
I think it's a habit that men do. In the past, lots of men think they're quote-unquote superior, but that's really not true. Women gained equal rights in 1972, but sometimes men still don't believe that women can do whatever a man can do.
Most jobs pay men more than women, even if women are doing the exact same work. Often women do better work just because they're more motivated and they still get paid less. Men can be lazy and, non-motivated and they still get paid just because they're men.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that men can get paid more than women, but they're doing the same job.
Agreed.
Okay, so why do you guys think... Now for another question. Why do you think sexism is mainly directed towards women?
I think it's a habit for men to do it because in the past, lots of men think they're quote-unquote superior, but that's really not true. Women gained the equal rights in 1972, but men still can't get the idea that women can do whatever a man can do.
Most jobs pay men more than women, even if they're lazy, like just bad people. They don't do any work, and often women do better jobs at whatever job that they do than men. Men can be lazy and unmotivated, and they still get paid more.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that women can get paid less than men, even if they're doing the same exact job.
Agreed.
So, do you guys think that sports teams will raise the income for women?
I actually think that they will, but it may take a little while. I think as they realize that women are just as capable at sports as anybody else, they'll start to raise the income, and slowly over time, it may even surpass the men's because men will start getting unmotivated because women are doing a better job than them.
I think it will depend on how good they are and how popular they are at that sport. And if they're popular, they can raise the income on their performance.
Yeah, and on certain sports like women's football, it may be very popular, so they may make even more money than men.
Adding on to Daniel, I think it depends on how many fans they can get. I think if more people start watching their sports and they get more popular, it would raise the income for the sports teams, which means that the players will get a higher income. And because if they get more fans, they'll get more pay for their sport events.
Yeah, you guys seem to make really good points.
What do you guys think is going to happen in the future with women continuing to get better at things in the world and changing how the world thinks?
I hope the world will realize that women are literally the same humans as men, but just a different gender, and they should be treated equal and fair.
Daniel said that continuing to get better at things, and I think that was actually a good choice of words because he said better, not that they're starting to actually do these things. I think that there's always been a small interest. It's just that it hasn't really been, it hasn't really been opened up. So I think that with this continuing change of tides, I think this could be a real revolution.
Agreed.
Okay, we're wrapping up here, but before our conclusion, we'd like to talk about our next episode.
This episode is going to be about ableism in sports and how people have changed over the years, especially talking about the Special Olympics.
And we're going to be talking about the Paralympics, for example, the swimming Paralympics, and how they've started to gain more fans.
Also, one more thing. A few years ago, when I was hanging out with my dad, and we were watching YouTube together, because that was just something we used to do. And I saw this video of a special league basketball, and it was all these people in wheelchairs, and they some didn't have legs, some only had one arm, and it was really cool that they were all getting along and they were playing just like every normal person.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up this episode here, but we'll see you on the next episode.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to our podcast, and
See you later.
hope you guys learned something from the podcast, and yeah, we'll see you later.
Peace.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.